What's up, everyone? I'm C.L. Connolly. I'm an indie author of horror novels. I've got one lone title, Friendly Misfortunes, which is actually available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com right now. It was published in 2014, and it is the one and only book that I have that is not in a series at this time. I do have the Affair series. The very first novel, Forbidden Affair, is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. It was published in 2012. I have the second book in that series, which is Family Affair, set to come out later this year in August, which is just next month. August 14th, 2019 is the release date for that one. So exciting. I do have Fundamental Affair, which is in the editing stage right now. Should be ready to go to the beta readers by the beginning of August. And I do have Fruitful Affair, which is the last book in the series, because it's only a 4-book series. And that one should be done. It's still in the writing stages. It should be done by the end of the month, hopefully, so that I can go ahead and start editing that one as well right in August. I've been writing since I was 6 years old, so I read a lot of stuff. I have always been really fascinated by serial killers and what makes them tick. You know, what's in their brain that makes them want to kill. That's one of my main focuses, that I really want to understand that. I like to watch true crime videos, shows, anything that has to deal with, murder. I don't know. I'm kind of a weirdo that way, I guess. Most of my books are centered around serial killers and the creepy stuff that they do. In 2020, I will be starting a brand new series that centers around 4 serial killers that have been killing since, they were younger. We'll be following these serial killers around in their daily lives and, just to see how serial killers actually get along throughout their day. Some of them have jobs and stuff that nobody ever knew that they were even a killer. If you ever notice that a lot of people, whenever they're like, he killed somebody, but he was so normal. That's what serial killers do. They make you think they're normal until you realize, oh yeah, because he was totally creepy. I mean, who's to say that your neighbor isn't burying bodies in their backyard right now? I'm just saying. You might want to keep an eye on that. What I plan to accomplish with these videos is I'm hoping to get you started on your new writing journey and just start your novel, start your series. Do however you want to do it. But that's how I'm going to do this. We're going to go ahead and go through this journey together. I may have some published books, but I will be starting a brand new series. Hopefully you will too. You'll be starting a new series, a new novel. We can go through this together. I'll show you my process and how I go through everything and show you exactly how I get my book started from the very beginning before I even start writing it. So you'll be able to see my outlining process. My outlining process is a little different than most authors. But we'll go through the outlining process, how to get your writing started so you'll be able to have your novel ready to go. And we'll go through some novel writing tips here and there, just so you kind of see what I go through and see if that works for you. You have to remember every writer is different, and comparing yourself to another writer is never a good idea. Always just remember, you are an individual, you have different ideas, you have different processes. There are some people who are a visual learner, so they have to be able to see it in front of them. There are some people who can actually learn just from reading a book, and there are other people who can learn just from hearing. Those are those musical prodigies who, just from hearing a note, they know exactly what note it is. I don't know how they do it. What is that? Auditory learning? Something like that. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take you through my entire process. We'll start with the outlining process. We'll go into the writing process, so you'll actually get to see the writing process and how everything is done. And then we'll go to the editing process. And then from the editing process, you'll be able to see the beta reader process, the cover process, the editor process that has to be your last step. Then once it goes to your editor, it will come back to you so you can go ahead and put it together. Whether you decide to be traditionally published or indie published and join our little community here of those self-published authors that we have, I will go ahead and show you exactly the steps to take in order to get to that point. If you decide that you want to go ahead and query agents and large publishing companies, more power to you. I tried that, didn't work out for me, and I know that's how a lot of self-published authors start. I will tell you that J.K. Rowling was originally self-published. So her books were originally self-published. She was discovered by an actual publishing company. That's how she got to where she's at. And I believe so was Stephanie. Wow, I cannot remember what her name is. The one who wrote Twilight. She was self-published as well, I do believe. Don't hold me to that. But, you know, the self-publishing is more of a stepping stone so you can get a reader base so that you can be discovered. Don't think of it as a, you know, backpedal to anything. It never is. These agents and publishers, they want you to already have a reader base before they're even gonna, you know, before they're even willing to accept you into their, you know, their employ. That's just how they are. They legitimately want you to already have that reader base so your book is in demand. It seems stupid. It's like going into a job interview and them saying, I'm sorry, I can't hire you because you don't have any experience. Well, I don't have any experience because nobody will hire me. That's how this works. You know, you haven't had anything published, so we can't publish you. Well, how am I supposed to get published if you won't publish me? It's kind of the same thing, and it's very difficult. There are quite a few self-published authors who do enjoy the business side of it, and I will tell you that I am one of those. I do enjoy the, you know, the freedom of being able to write what I want to write when I want to write it. I don't have an agent or a publisher telling me, oh, well, right now this is a big thing. Write this. Problem is, though, is that in the traditional publishing, your books aren't going to get published for 18 months. So in that 18 months, that may not be big anymore. And now you're stuck with a series that you started writing and it's not even cool anymore. So with self-publishing, you can actually write a series that everybody's big on. You know, Stephenie Meyer. Oh, I figured out her name. So when Stephenie Meyer started writing Twilight, you know, vampires were huge. So everybody started writing these vampire books. Self-published authors were able to pump them out just as fast, you know, as her books were coming out, but her books were already done and ready to be published. And that's how she was able to get her books out as fast, because her publishing company already had them. So you didn't have to wait 18 months, or at least I didn't. I didn't even know she even existed until my sister-in-law had told me about her books. And she's like, oh, you're going to love this. And then I'm always that author or reader, whatever you want to call me. I have to read the book before I see the movie. And I will tell you, there are several books that I absolutely loved and hated the movie. And then there's other books where I really didn't care for the book, but I liked the movie only because it seemed like the book wasn't able to actually give me that visual. I wasn't able to actually feel anything for the characters or anything like that. And I will tell you, that was like the second book of the Twilight series. I hated the second one. She was a whiny bitch and I wanted to punch her in the face. Even the second movie kind of irritates me a little bit. It's just how it is. That's my main thing. I mean, unpopular opinion or not, that's just how I see it. But I will tell you that I do my own cover art. Right now for the Affair series, I am doing my own cover art. I did have a photographer take these pictures. This is actually me on the ground. My knee, if I can go the right way, my knee is actually bent behind me. So my leg was actually up here. But my photographer was actually able to take that leg out of there. So I got exactly what I wanted. The back, all I did was crop this and add that in. I got my little barcode here. For the second one, which this was my very first book. This was the first book I ever actually got published. I can't say it's the first book I ever wrote because that's not true. But it is the first book I ever got published. So Forbidden Affair was the very first book that I ever got published. And I was so excited to have this. And, I mean, just having it in my hand. I literally could not care less about my reader base when I got my first book published. I was just happy to have a book that I wrote in my hand. And I was like, oh, it's my book, you know. I'm creepy. I do a lot of creepy stuff. But that I was happy about. And this, just so you can tell, this is a matte cover. It has like this really cool feeling. I really love this. I didn't want the gloss only because of the fact that I had actually seen a lot of stuff that said that the gloss laminate that goes onto the book covers sometimes doesn't stick and it will start to peel up, so you'll be able to see that lamination actually peeling off of the cover. And I've had a few books where that gloss lamination has actually started to peel off. So I decided to do it this way. I wanted to do the matte lamination. It actually feels really cool. It almost has like a microfiber feel, so it's actually kind of neat. So I've done all of my books this way so far. I do like the matte lamination. It's actually kind of a neat thing. To me, it's because it makes me look different. It's kind of like a standout, I guess you could say. I've never been one to conform to the, social norms, I guess you could say. I can be quite offensive because I grew up in a time where you could actually say whatever you wanted to say and people weren't going, oh, that's so offensive. I'm offended by what you said. Nowadays, everybody's offended by everything, so when stuff comes out of my mouth, I revert back to a time when, nothing was offensive. It didn't matter what you said. Nobody was offended by anything. Everybody was like, everybody is everybody. That's just how we are. And as the years have progressed, it's gone back to that, I'm offended by everything, So I'm going to tell you now, if you get offended very easily, you probably wouldn't be the best person to watch these videos because I can be extremely offensive. I will say certain things without even realizing that I've actually said it out loud until after it's done, and I won't see anything wrong with it until somebody points it out. And then I'll be like, okay, I guess it was offensive. If you're offended by it, I'm sorry, There's literally nothing I can do. I'm offensive. I say shit that's completely offensive. But at this point, where I'm going with this, because for some reason my conversations like to go, my train of thought decides to split off the tracks. Sometimes it actually goes off the track and gets on the road. And okay, we're getting off topic here. Anyway, so I will be starting a new series next year, and I'm going to take you through that journey so we can go ahead and get you started in your book. We can all take that same journey. We can hold each other accountable for any kind of goals that we have. You will see my goals behind me on my wall here. Those are my writing goals for what I've got going on. I did take one down, which is right here on the table. I can't get it off the table right now, but it's on the table. The one that's on the table is actually for Family Affair, which is at the publisher, and I'm just waiting for the proof to come in so I can go ahead and approve that, and then it will be up for pre-sale as soon as I approve the proof. And then these are for the other two that I've got going on. But at this time, I would like to go ahead and bring you along with me on the outlining process. I do have my notebook, my outlining process, and I'll go over that in the next video, as well as the writing process, the editing process, the cover process, and the publishing process. And we'll get you through to the end. Come along and let's have a nice little writing time. If you liked this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to join me on this journey. Click that bell in order to be notified every time I post a video. Right now, I'm hoping it'll be every single Monday. Next year, once I start writing, some weeks I will have a video out every single day because we'll be doing writing challenges, and it'll be like an everyday thing. So we'll see how that goes. Hoping for something good anyway. So we'll be doing some writing challenges to, see if we can get through an entire day, like 5,000 words in a day. I have never been able to do 5,000 words in a day, no matter how much I actually try. I can probably pump out 1,500 words in a day, but I've never done 5,000. That's a challenge I'm willing to accept, and I'm taking that one next year. I hope that you're willing to do that challenge with me. And I will have all of my social media linked below. Right now, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm not very active on Twitter because I think Twitter is the mean kid of social media. Just saying. Everybody likes to go there and just be mean to everybody. I can't really vouch for that because I'm not on Twitter all that much. And it's only because Twitter, to me, moves so fast that I feel like I can't keep up with it. Facebook, you kind of have to hope for the best when you post something on Facebook. And so I do post on Facebook sometimes, but I'm most active on Instagram. Instagram, I do post a lot of writing updates and stuff like that, what I'm working on, how's it going, stuff like that. I do post differently on Facebook and Instagram, even though you can link those accounts. I do have different posts on each one of those. So if you follow me on both Instagram and Facebook, you will get different posts depending on what you're looking at. And that's just my preference because I always think it's weird if I'm following someone on Facebook and on Instagram and I'm getting the exact same posts. I'm always confused, like, okay, well, I like the post, but do I like it on Instagram or do I like it on Facebook? And I know that's just for people who have Instagram and not Facebook, or people who have Facebook and not Instagram. But to me, I'm always confused because I'm on both. So I don't know. I post different things on both Instagram and Facebook. So you'll be able to see different posts from me from each, social media. And I post way different things on Twitter. Twitter is almost like once a month that I'm on there. Sometimes it's like once a year. I think in 2015 or 2016, one of those years, I posted like once the entire year. There are several times. I don't like political. Let me put it that way. I don't like political posts. I don't want to see your political posts. And there was one girl that I was following on Twitter, and it seemed like she was constantly retweeting all of these political posts. I had to stop following her. I don't like political posts. Like, legitimately, I followed her specifically because she was an author, but I'm getting a lot of political posts, and I don't like political posts. I will unfollow you. I don't want to pay attention to that. The world around me, I understand what's going on. I know what's going on. But to me, for somebody to trash the government that they live in, it's almost... I'm not going to get into politics. Anyway, all of my social medias will be linked below. I am getting a website. My website should be launched right before my book launches. I am starting that up. So my website will launch right before my book does. And that's it. Subscribe, click the bell. See you in the next one. Bye!